Good morning, everyone. It's Beth Kozik from Elegant Greetings. It's Saturday morning, and welcome to another catalog Copycat cards. This morning, we are going to be making a card from our beautiful new annual catalog. But first things first, I always give away the project that I made last time, and this was what we created 2 weeks ago. It's a beautiful card that used the Forever Greenery Suite, and it had a lot of embellishments on it. It was not really difficult to make, but the result was really pretty. So I'm happy to give that card away. We had a lot of people comment on Facebook and also on YouTube. So the way to get an opportunity to receive the project I make is to be sure to leave a comment. So I certainly appreciate all your thumbs up, but be sure to leave a comment too if you're interested in a chance at me mailing the project to you. So let's go ahead and see who our winner is this week. And our winner is Chris Colley. So Chris, thank you so much for your comment, and I will mail this beautiful card to you. All right. Okay, ladies, so again, our annual catalog is now live, and it is amazing, like usual. Stampin' Up! Always outdoes themselves every single catalog. I don't know how they do that, but they do. And you can see I've got all my tabs on my catalog with all the different sections that I reference constantly. And my wish list is very long, so I wonder what your wish list is like. I do have a little bit of a contest, so if you have your catalog and you would like to have an opportunity at winning the tiny, oh gosh, I don't have them handy here. I wanted to show them to everybody, but they are the little tiny bumblebees. Let's see if I can find them in the catalog. So they are under our embellishments section. Here we go. These little bumblebees. So I'm offering a package of those. I'm going to have a little raffle. So if you're interested, just send me a picture of your typed out or hand printed wish list. I'm sure that your wish list is long just like mine. I should call it a shopping list, really, not a wish list, because we don't have to wish for these things. We can order them. So yeah, send that to me by Monday, May 17th, and then I'm going to select a winner of those little bumblebee trinkets on Tuesday. Okay, so our project today is from the new catalog, page 98. We're going to use the Color and Contour stamp set and the coordinating dies. And this is what those look like. So here is our stamp set. It's photopolymer. It has 13, and it looks like this. So there are lots of images of flowers, and this is a two-step stamping set. So I'm going to show you a little trick for how to line those up really easily to use them together. Really pretty sentiments, and this is shown at 85%. So actually the stamps are a little bit larger than what you're seeing here, but they have to reduce it because to be able to get all of the images onto the paper that goes into the case, they do just reduce the image a little bit so we can see everything all in one. And then these are the dies. These are amazing. These have beautiful scalloped and stitches to them. So there's all different graduated sizes of these rectangles. Isn't that pretty? Can you see that little line there? That creates a little line of stitching along with the scallop cut. So we are going to use this smaller one here for our sentiment. This one here is a scallop, and that again has that like line of beading, so it makes a little row of stitching. It's so pretty. And then we are going to use this one, which cuts out our flower, and then we're only going to have to use part of this one. This cuts out the entire flower with the stem and the leaves, but we are going to just use the bottom half of this one. All right, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned before, but what I use for these black things that are on within my packages of dies, these are magnetic sheets, and of course this part would peel off. It has adhesive in there if I were needing that to adhere to something. But I place these into my stamp cases because, as you can see, they're metal, obviously, and they hold all of my metal dies right in place. So this holds them all together, and then I can just slide them right back into my case. So it's a really nice way to keep them organized And of course, these come in 5x7 size, so they fit perfectly in our other cases. But for the dies that are wider, like this one, I just cut off with scissors a little bit, and then it fits right into my case. So that's just a tip for you. These are available on Amazon. I got mine, a big box of them, and they're not real cheap, but they are definitely a nice thing to have for our dies. All right, well, let's get started on our card. Get all these things out of the way here. Now, I've done my die cutting ahead of time to save some time here. So we'll start with our stamping. I'm going to keep my catalog on the side here and follow along. Oh, I didn't even tell you which card we're making. So we are making this card right here. It has all of the flowers, a really pretty sentiment. We're going to use that scallop line, that scallop, to make these two parts here. It's a very, very pretty card. All right, so let's see what we need. We need, well, first of all, our stamps, which I have mounted. We have the two flowers, and this is the little trick I wanted to share with you. What I did is I figured out where the top of each stamp is. When these are placed together and stamped together, I put a little mark with a Sharpie, so that is on the reverse side of my photopolymer. And then I know exactly where the top is for each of the stamps, so that when I'm stamping them, I'll know exactly where to line up. This will be the first one I stamp with, and then this is the overlay stamp. So because these are not symmetrical, asymmetrical, the way that the flower is done, this is just a really easy way to know where to line up. And I'll show you in how that actually works. But that's why there are two pink dots on here. Okay, so those are our two-step flowers. This is that large flower I had mentioned. We're only going to stamp just this bottom portion and cut out the stems. And then our sentiment says, "You're absolutely amazing," which is a really fun sentiment. And it fits right onto that little die cut that we're going to use for that. Those are our stamps. Our inks are Highland Heather and Pumpkin Pie and Magenta Madness. And then we also need just our plain black. And then we need some of our matching Magenta Madness ribbon, and our adhesives are our Tombow liquid glue and dimensionals, and then a little bit of bling this time. I pulled out just my plain old pearls. These are just wonderful to use. I haven't used them in quite a while, but they've been around forever. They add just a really nice touch. So we're going to add some of those to the centers of our flowers. And then our cardstock is So Saffron, so that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then we need 2 pieces of our basic white. I think I cut this, it's definitely 5.5 because it's going to fit along the length of our card. I think I did it like 1 1/8 or 1 1/4. So those are going to be die cut to make our 2 scallop pieces. And then we need some other scraps of basic white to do our flowers and our other die cutting. All right. So let's get started with our stamping. I think the first thing we shall do is to stamp our sentiment. So I've already die cut this piece. Isn't that fun? So that was the die that was used to do that, and just basic white. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment in Magenta Madness. So we want that nice pop of color right on the front of our card. All right, so I'm just going to ink up my stamp here. And then that goes right into the center. So nice and easy. All right, that turned out great. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And then let me show you while I have the ink open here. I've already done the flowers ahead of time, but I want to show you how to do the 2-step stamping with these 2 stamps to get them to line right up. And I need my scrap paper. Here we go. All right, so just a piece of basic white, and I'm going to, the way the flowers are done here, they are in the same color with the background, and then the same color with the overlay stamp. So what we'll want to do, so we have a little bit of contrast, is we're going to ink up our first stamp, okay? And you can see I have that little dot at the top of my stamp, and then I'm going to stamp off because I want to remove some of the ink. So I'm going to do that just on a scrap paper, and then I'm going to go right over to my cardstock and then stamp. All right, so see that dot is way at the top there? So that gives us a much less image. See, the first generation is here, and then without re-inking at all, I stamped onto my cardstock. So the next thing we want to do is take our overlay stamp, which is this one, and then again that dot is there, so I want to keep that upright. I'm going to ink that up, and then I will be able to line that right up over my stamp that I already did. Excuse me. Okay, and I'm not stamping off with this. I want the full generation, first generation of ink for that one. So see, when I pull that up, I have the contrast. And you can see that the stamp lines up close. It's not meant to be exact, but it does line up exactly to the first stamp that I had done. Okay, and then this gets die cut. So the other trick about the dies, same thing. I took my die and I figured out where the top was to line up with the stamping, and I put a dot on my die. So now when I go to die cut, I know that that part is going to fit right at the top, right about there, and then I'll be ready to die cut that. Okay, so that's just a really good trick to use for these two-step stamping type of stamps. All right, so I've done my flowers. I did one in the purple and in the pumpkin pie and also in the pink. So those are ready to go. And then I also did the die cutting for the scallop. So this is the die here, which is so fun. Makes a really pretty edge. Isn't that gorgeous? So it did the scallop and it did all the little dots. So it's really not even stitching. It's more like a dot pattern. So those are finished. And then I also took my black ink and I did some stamping onto the scraps with this stamp just to get that lower half so that I would have the stems, and those were just done in black, and then I die cut those. So that's the result of that. So stamping and die cutting. Here's my die, and then I got 3 of those. So those are all set to go as well. All right, I think that we are ready to assemble already. This is a very quick card. So I'm going to pull in my card base. I've just got that folded in half, and I've put some dimensionals on the back of these scalloped pieces. So those are going to go top and bottom. So this one goes like that. Just lining that up to the top of the card. And then this one goes on the bottom. Nice and easy. And that one will go right down here. Okay. And those are just 5.5 wide, so we want them to be the full length of the card. Isn't that cool? I love it already. And then we are going to use our Tombow Glue. So I'm going to open this card up. Get these out of the way here. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. I'm going to put a little bit of glue onto our stems. And this is, Tombow Glue is nice and easy to use. It dispenses just a tiny little bit, and it's good for these little tiny pieces that we have to put on our project. Okay, so it looks like they have one right about here. I'm just going to slide that under that scalloped area. Okay, and then our other 2 go onto the left side. All right, so there's one. I'm just sliding this under. This one's kind of on an angle this way. And then the third one looks like it's more in the middle. So right about there. That looks good. And then for our flowers, I put a dimensional on the back of each of these. And let's see, the orange one is right above here, like that. And then our pink one, the purple one first, that one's right there. And our pink one goes right about there. So there's our flowers. And then for our sentiment, oh, we first need to put on our ribbon. So our sentiment's going to go here. And of course we need dimensionals on there. Where are my dimensionals? So I'll add a few of those onto there now. And then I'm going to add on some ribbon. And what they did is they have it kind of looping back and forth underneath the sentiment. So I'm going to measure about 3 widths of that tag that we made with the sentiment. And the way that they do that is they just loop it back and forth like this. Okay, and then I'm going to attach that to my card. So I think I'll use the Stampin' Seal, which is very strong adhesive. So I just rolled out a little line of that. And then this will lay down underneath the sentiment like this. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to put a little extra here. All right, that looks good. And then our sentiment goes right over the ribbon. So I like doing the ribbon like that. It adds just a little bit of a dimension to the card. All right, so there's that. And then our last step is to put some bling onto the centers of these flowers. So I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. And again, these pearls they're just the right touch. I love how they look. They add just a little bit of sheen. The other thing we can do with the pearls is to add some color. So I could take my Blends marker and color over these and then put them onto the project. But I think I'm going to leave them just plain white. So I'll put 3 onto each. Actually, this one was a little rogue one here. So I'll put that one on. And I like putting 3 in the middle like that. Isn't that pretty? Let's see. Yeah, it's just a nice touch. I'll add some here to the purple one. And the U-Pick tool, I'm using that putty end, which is sticky, and that just picks up the jewel, and then I can place it right onto my project. So this is an awesome tool. If you don't already have one, you definitely need this. And one more, and then I think we're done. Oops. Okay, there we go. All right, and then last step is to just use our bone folder and crease that edge. That is so cute. Look at how darling. Let me bring in my catalog here. So there's our catalog card, and here's my card. What a darling card. Went together so easy. I love the white with all the pops of color. So, so pretty. So, okay, I think we are done for today. So thank you so much for joining me. Oh, one more thing. I wanted to show you some other cards that were made with this stamp set and the dies. So this showcases those beautiful rectangle cut dies. So there's all that detail. Isn't that pretty? And then here's another one that I received as a swap. And this uses that other stamp, which then has a 2-step stamp that goes over to fill in the flower part of it. How about that one? Isn't that gorgeous? A lot of these use our brand new colors. There's another one in here that was done with 3 different colors to fill in that flower. And then here's another one that I had done as a swap card. So this is kind of a dimensional card, which sits upright, and it uses all of our new beautiful ink colors. Okay, ladies, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if you like this card, please do leave a comment so that you have a chance to maybe win it next weekend. All right, take care, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.